it done. This is not scrap or garbage. It is scrap. We will use it. It has a purpose. Now your carrot should be mostly done. Maybe a little bit up here near the top needs touched up. Maybe a little bit at the bottom. The bottom looks okay on this one. Okay? Make sure all your peelings are up there. I don't want the peelings mixed in with the diced pieces. Now, just like our celery, we have a very big piece. We have some scrap here we need to take off. Thin, thin, thin. Did I mention thin? I can't remember. Slice off the top. And you're going to see how much harder it is. You got to push your way through this carrot. Thin. Same thing with the bottom. Make sure you pick it up. Thin. Okay? Now, long product. We're going to cut this down so it's easier to manage. Okay? Now I'm going to start with this big one just so I can do a little bit more demonstrating. We peeled it. Now what do we need to do? Square it so that it sits down flat. I will not just cut this in half. I need to cut a thin. Notice how much I'm cutting off. Okay? And if you can't see, you can look up in the mirror. Okay? Thin amount. My hands, I'm pinching this carrot. If I'm just kind of loosely holding this, it's going to be all over the place. I need to hold this tightly. Okay? Now, I have my first quote-unquote slab with that cut. Okay? Now, I'm going to cut the rest of it into slabs by doing the same thing. If you need to dig your fingernails into this carrot a little bit to hold it still, please do so. Again, down and forward. And you're going to have to push. You can't just rely on your hand. Get your whole body into it. Cutting the whole thing into slabs. Okay? And they should be pretty uniform in thickness. Okay? So we went from the big carrot down to the cut pieces, now we're at the slabs. Now we need to julienne or matchstick it. Okay? Do one of these pieces at a time to start with. Again, thin strips, fingers curl, inching my hands back. Doing it again, fingers curl. Okay? Try and keep them as consistent as possible. Okay, so they look like so. With me so far. Slab, julienne, now we're going to dice. Now, and I don't know if I mentioned this with the celery, if you have a huge pile, don't try and do the whole thing. Manage or decide what your hands can hold and break it up accordingly. So I'm going to divide this in half, and I could probably do this and more, but for your sake, I'm just going to show you. Small pile. Pinch it, hold it together, finger against the knife, inching my way backwards, inching my feet, keeping the product together. So that it is a nice clean dice. A dice is a cube, a three-dimensional square. It should look something close to it. Okay? Carrot, kind of similar to the celery. Questions? All right, I have a couple of peelers. Use it, pass it off.